Pull the banners, choose a side, and take up arms because it's time to talk dragons for the first time in 2 years plus. And that, of course, means we're talking House of the Dragons. Usually we do a recap episode each week, but we decided we were both having super busy summers and our view counts tend to go down anyway during summers. So I'm Zach Miller, he's Martin Cooke, and viewers out there, are you Team Green or Team Black? Targaryens versus Hightowers.
Very cool.
But first, we got to catch you up on our summer blockbuster draft report, and it is getting close.
It is indeed, yeah. So those of you who have listened and watched for a while might remember that at the beginning of each sort of summer blockbuster season, so Memorial Day long weekend till Labor Day long weekend, we each choose a slate of five movies, and whichever one makes the most money in the worldwide box office by the end is the champion. And we've split that title over the past 2 years. This year, it looks like it's going to be very close.
The
I
rubber
was
match.
worried because you were pulling ahead, Zach, there for a while. But I've definitely caught up on the strength of Spider-Man. So your slate was The Odyssey, Toy Story 5, Moana, Scary Movie, and Supergirl. And your grand total as of this recording is 2,858,460,363. And most of those, the vast majority of that coming from the Odyssey and Toy Story, of course. My four movies so far, because I have one coming out this weekend, four movies are Spider-Man, Mandalorian and Grogu, Minions and Monsters, and Disclosure Day. And those four movies have made a grand total of $2,769,897,865. So at this point, a difference of 88,562,000 more or less.
Oh,
And I mean, not a huge movie coming out this weekend, but I've got Paw Patrol, the Dino movie coming out this weekend. And I am also day by day making up ground on the strength of Spider-Man just still being an absolute fucking unit at the box office. So I was very down about this, I'd say maybe a month ago. I'm starting to feel like I might be able to take it now.
yeah. I mean, Spielberg doesn't have the box office power that he used to, but um, Spider-Man itself, with the rewatch value of Marvel movies, especially the really good ones, and this was a really good movie. We've both
Yeah.
seen it and definitely recommend it. And yeah, I thought it was in the bag for me. I thought I was gonna win the rubber match in year three, but it's gonna come down to the wire for sure.
Yeah, we both obviously had some pretty big duds.
Mm.
Like even for me, even Minions and Monsters only has made 475 million to date. And that's, every Minions movie has made over 900 million to this point. So that's pretty big. And then obviously Supergirl was major flop at the box office, unfortunately. That's only made 126 million.
Hmm.
Um,
Same with Scary Movie. It was a huge flop.
yeah, yeah, and Moana. Mandalorian and Grogu, I wasn't so sure how that would do anyway. Same with Disclosure Day, although Disclosure Day again probably did worse than I thought. I was hoping for maybe around 350 and it's only made 240. So yeah, but it all came down to the Odyssey being a massive fucking hit, probably bigger than either of us actually expected.
Mm.
Um, because it looks like it's gonna make more than Oppenheimer even, which is kind of crazy. And then because it didn't have the strength of the whole Barbenheimer thing. And then Spider-Man has just been, it's already, and it's only been out for 2 weeks, one of the seven highest grossing movies of all time, which is just insane.
Yeah, it made almost it smashed the record for opening weekend. What was it, like 350 million or something like that?
Yeah.
Close to that. And usually I try to see these movies opening night, but I had family in town and there was no way you were getting like 4 or 5 seats in a row. I had to
No.
I had to wait a week and a half just to see it with my stepbrother and get two seats in a row.
Yeah.
And I had to book that like a week in advance. There were no seats, so it is just packed to the brim.
It was actually the same for me with Odyssey in IMAX.
Mm,
I was like, I want to see it first week. I could not get a seat in IMAX
mm,
because I was trying to go with a few people, or at least not a decent seat, and I wasn't going to sit, in a terrible spot.
mm.
So yeah, both those movies just really hard to get into, and yeah, pretty successful, pretty good movies. So yeah, go go with those filmmakers who are making good stuff in Hollywood.
Yeah, and every time people come out and lament that the theater going experience is dead, you have like these types
Yeah,
of movies come out and everybody flocks to see it for weeks at a time. And it's not that the theater going experience is dead, it's just stop making shitty movies
yeah,
and
yeah.
just remakes and existing IP. I mean, obviously, Odyssey is one of the oldest existing IPs, but people love Spider-Man,
Homer,
and
Homer is getting his residuals.
but people love Spider-Man. I think he's even more popular than Batman, and Tom Holland's great, and they have not made a even mediocre Spider-Man in the series. They've all been great.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really boomer bust though.
Hmm.
And it's hard to, part of it, yes, is that these movies are good, but it's also hard sometimes to put your finger on, the old adage, nobody knows anything in Hollywood. It's kind of hard to put your finger on what exactly is going to take off.
Hmm.
But, between the 1 billion movies, and there's really nothing kind of in between 500 million and a billion. So it's really just like the ones that make tons of money and then the ones that underperform.
Yeah, at least in theaters. I mean,
Yeah,
streamers are saving
exactly.
the mid-budget shit, but yeah, you're totally
Yeah,
right.
well, and even in streaming, I mean, Supergirl, which was a massive flop at the theater, has been apparently the number one streaming movie ever since it was put on streaming. So maybe it'll help recoup some of those losses there.
Yeah, and just a quick aside, how about Tom Holland, Zendaya, and John Bernthal and the month they've had? Because all
Yeah,
three of them were in both Spider-Man and the Odyssey.
yeah,
So
not bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, let's dive into season three, the penultimate season of House of the Dragon. It will only go four seasons, and let's see. We start out with an epic battle that we've been leading up to for 20 episodes or something. And so the Battle of the Gullet happens, and it's an epic naval battle. Uh, Rhaenyra has like the worst small council ever. Aemond, one of the fan favorites, is stuck in Harrenhal jail, just like Daemon was last season. I was about to say last year, but it takes 2 years to make this series. Uh, Allison is just completely lost. Aegon is somehow likable now, and the it's a toss up right now of who's going to win because the season started with Rhaenyra having the obvious upper hand, and it ends with her still holding King's Landing, but it's not looking too good, and some of her dragon riders are none too pleased with her. And we'll get a lot deeper into those things, but that's basically how it ends.
Yeah. We should obviously mention right off the bat of it. It should be very clear, but this is going to contain massive spoilers. So
Yes.
anybody who hasn't finished season 3 yet, go do that, and then come back and watch us.
Yes, this isn't a primer.
No,
So, what were your just overall general thoughts of the season as a whole before we dive deep into it?
And I have to say, overall, I was fairly disappointed.
Hmm.
And I'll give you my reasons for it. Now, that's not to say there weren't individual things that I liked. I can get into some of the things I really liked as we go along. But the main reasons why I was disappointed in the season come down to basically three things. One is that a lot of the characters, and especially a lot of the key main characters, are just way too passive throughout. They're just not really doing anything, especially characters like Rhaenyra and Aemond, and even some of the other dragon riders like Ulf and Hugh. Well, Ulf until the last episode, but Rhaenyra especially, who for all intents and purposes has kind of been the protagonist of
Hmm.
this series. And really, the entire season, all she did was just sit around whining about how hard ruling was. Like she didn't do anything. Seriously, that's half her lines is her, tears in her face going, "Oh, this is so difficult. This is so hard. Nobody's paying attention to me or whatever." And what
Well, people are
happened?
paying attention to her.
Yeah. But like what happened to the girl from season one who when Damon stole an egg and she just went against her father's wishes, hopped on her dragon and went to take matters into her own hands and took it back. Like we've totally lost that kind of initiative taking person. And I worry because some of this is also changes from the book. Some of it isn't. She does kind of get bogged down in King's Landing in the books, and there's some and has some problems. But some of it is just it reminds me a bit of some of the mistakes they made with Daenerys in the later seasons of Game of Thrones, where it's like, oh, I don't want to be Queen of the Ashes, and so instead of acting, they just make her really oh, okay, well, kind of wait for things to happen. And I don't know if that's, you never want to say this too much because I'm sure the writers are doing their best, but there's almost like a latent sexism or something. And I don't know if that's what the writers are trying to call out or not, or if it's just ingrained in that, you wouldn't be upset with a male king being forceful and taking matters into his own hands. Like there would never be the discussion about, oh wow, oh I don't know, maybe this guy's gone too far. Maybe he's the king of the ashes. Like that's just not something you'd hear. So I don't know if it's that, but her character was just totally neutered all season. And I didn't like it. Um, and same with Aemond. I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, they had one interesting warrior character sitting around Harrenhal all of last season, and everybody hated it. And so I guess they decided, well, why don't we just do that with another character then and have him just sit there being bewitched by the wolf girl from Glow. And it's just anyway, very strange.
Oh shit. I didn't even realize that was her until you
Oh, you
just said
mean he
that.
hadn't made that connection?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's the same actress.
Oh, it's oh man, totally. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's problem number one. Okay, this is a long rant.
Okay.
Problem number two. I'm not really rooting for anybody.
Hmm.
There aren't that many likable characters, and shows don't always have to have super likable characters. But if you think about Game of Thrones, there were always characters to root for, even if they were on opposite sides of the conflicts, right?
Yeah, that's what made it so
And
compelling.
yeah, and here there's nobody I'm really rooting for. It's just the characters are not popping for me in the same way. And then three, and maybe this is somewhat connected to two, there's no humor in this show at all,
Uh, um,
or very little, very little. Like I find it's way too self-serious, especially in this season. And I mean, yeah, it's a civil war and things are bad, but it's often in situations like that that people use humor and go for dark humor to kind of cope. And we've seen that in other series, not just Game of Thrones, but in other series where things are really bleak. And I just haven't seen nearly enough of that. So anyway, so those are the things I haven't liked. There were a bunch of things I liked. Some of the changes from the books, some of the character stuff. You mentioned briefly Aegon's kind of about face, which I kind of like. I also have to say that somehow Tywin Lannister has become one of my favorite likable characters now because he's just this guy that's, throughout the first couple of seasons was always shit on and was always kind of useless, but he just keeps plugging away, mistakes happen. He's very loyal. He just keeps doing his thing. And I kind of like that guy now. So there are some good things that they've done. I liked the bit with the Darren switcheroo that they pulled. That was kind of interesting. Um, the set designs continue to be incredible. Like the set design for Tumbleton, maybe not exactly how I would have imagined it in my mind based upon the book, but I thought it looked great. It looked like it's a very, a unique, interesting town in this world. So all that stuff was really good. But I think those three main problems that I mentioned up top left me wanting a lot more this season.
Okay. I'll try to remember everything you just said and
Yeah, sorry, that was a long one. Maybe I should have gone point by point.
okay, so yeah, Rhaenyra. Uh she is kind of she is kind of taking the arc that she had in the books, and while yeah, she is passive, and I don't know if that's necessarily sexism because like just throwing this out there off the top of my head, like take a Ned Stark for example. I feel like he would kind of have the same attitude if he had the power of just basically dragons or F-16s that
Hmm.
just or nuclear weapons. And he always tended to show restraint, like he didn't want to kill Daenerys in season one. Um, so, and I get her point.
Yeah.
Like the realm is watching, and she's already on shaky ground as it is because of the food shortage, the money shortage. So she is kind of in an impossible position.
Yeah, and all
And
that stuff is in the books for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
the book, I suppose.
but especially some of these episodes run together because I'm not sure what happens. I think it was the finale where she finds out that Aegon's alive,
Yeah.
and she basically runs to Damon having a panic attack, like she's clutching her chest and heaving, and which I kind of get, but because it is like the ultimate threat to her reign is if the male heir that has already been anointed by the High Septon is still at large. But I mean, she just goes running and crying to Damon, and he has
Yeah.
to comfort her. So it's like, well, then just make my like Damon should be king then if he has to calm her down and make all the decisions for her. And she goes like full. Her armor in the end was fucking badass. I
It looked
have to
really cool. It
say,
really looked
yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
The chainmail and the crown and like the little like war paint eye makeup and
Yeah.
all that. And but she gives this like mad speech about prophecy, and everybody else is just like, well, where's my bread? Like, how's that gonna help feed us?
Yeah, and
And
and that didn't really tie in with her going to the Sept. Like I thought the whole point, I mean, yeah, sure, she got Alan to kill the High Septon, but nothing really came of it. Like I thought the whole point of her going to the Sept was to be anointed,
mhm.
and that just didn't happen. Instead, she just turned around and was like, "Okay, I'll just make this crazy speech now instead." Yeah, but what about this whole Sept thing that you were trying to do? I don't know.
And just spin off of that point, I really cannot stand anytime they reference the end of Game of Thrones, like the whole Prince that was promised thing. Like if Game of Thrones would have stuck the landing, I thought it would have been brilliant to tie in the whole
Mm.
the Aegon's dream with the Valyrian steel dagger and
Yeah,
all that
I
stuff.
actually liked it in the first season.
But anytime there's any reference or like a vision of the White Walkers or everything, it just takes me out of it because I'm like, oh my God, they fumbled season eight in Game of Thrones so
Right,
bad.
right.
So I get what they're trying to do, but it just never lands for me. And I thought it was a cool idea in season one as well when Viserys was telling young Rhaenyra about
Mhm.
that. And when Rhaenyra was talking to Joffrey, who's apparently a mute. Like, he was sleeping for 5 episodes, and then he's all of a sudden at the steps of the Sept, never has a line, and I guarantee that's because they're gonna have to recast him in 2 years whenever the
Yeah.
next episode comes out. But okay, your second point was about how all these characters are passive.
No, that was the first point
Oh,
that they're all
okay,
just too passive, and that was particularly true about Rhaenyra. But
okay.
even like okay, so you've got Alpha and Hugh, right? And
Mhm.
until the final episode, which Ulf did his thing, but you've got these two amazing dragons, and their job throughout the whole season is basically to patrol and wait for somebody to show up who never shows up.
Yeah, same with Bela.
Like this doesn't make for good television. They're just
That,
sitting
that
there not
that's
really
some
doing anything.
that's some good dialogue scenes though.
Yeah, but at some point, yeah, maybe they could at least see Vagar. Like, I don't know. Like, it just they're just sitting around waiting for something, and nothing ever happens the whole season. The
Well, I
whole
mean, Vagar doesn't even show up for his papa.
yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I've got some thoughts on yeah, Eamon and Vagar and stuff too.
I actually found myself laughing more this season than I had in the previous two seasons. Because I think Ulf is just funny no matter what he's doing. I thought Ormond was a great introduction, and
Yeah.
he was charismatic and fun. We'll get into that when we discuss the new characters in the next segment. So yeah, uh, his whole aversion to odors wasn't in the books,
No,
but
that was that's a cool character trait. Yeah, I
yeah,
did like Orman. Yeah.
yeah. So otherwise, I don't know. I thought it was the best season out of the three so far.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
no, I liked the first season by far the best so far.
really. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, season two was a dud because it seemed like, well, the entire series seems like they're rushing and dragging at the same time to
Yeah.
quote J.K. Simmons from Whiplash, but it seems like they're trying to get to the end, but and it's a tough task too because of the time skips
Yeah.
and you have to conflate all these storylines into a watchable television show, whereas the book behind me is basically read like a history book.
Yeah.
And but the
And you have to have characters for people to latch onto. And in the book, characters come and go really quickly because it's a war and people get killed. And so, yeah, obviously they want to drag out some of the episodes with these characters just so we can see characters that we know. So, yeah, it is a tough book to translate to film in that way for sure.
but at the same time, there's a full outline there for you. I mean, it's basically that's a fat book. It's like a 400-page treatment on like if you're writing a Bible for a show, like that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, like but it's 400 pages.
Well,
And
although this story isn't the whole book though, right? This is only like 250 of those 400 pages, maybe.
true. Because yeah, that covers the entire Targaryen dynasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought there were some great characters, great battles. They spent two seasons getting ready for, or season and a half at least, getting ready for war, and they're finally doing it. But yeah, like I said, it seems like they're rushing in some points and dragging in others. So, new characters. I'm just gonna read off. I made a short list of the some of the main ones. We obviously have Ormond Hightower.
Yeah.
What do you think of his character, his performance?
I loved his character. I loved what they did with it. I thought the actor did a really good job. My only slight criticism is the him being so anti dragon thing.
Racist, basically
Yeah, basically racist against the
xenophobic.
Targaryens and anti-dragon. It kind of seems like at some point, like Darren doesn't come across as very formidable. So at
Mm,
some point, it kind of feels like somebody in that as that character would have just ditched Darren and killed him and gone off on his own anyway.
mm,
And maybe, had a bunch of people kill his dragon because it doesn't seem like he really has any use for him except just to prop him up on the throne. But he's already said he doesn't think the Targaryen should have the throne. So that's my only thing, that there seems to be a bit of an inconsistency there. But aside from
well,
that, I loved having just a very interesting, unique character.
my counter to that would be that he's trying to be like some of the smartest people in the Westerosi history, where he wants to be the power behind the power. Like he's obviously
True.
grooming Darren so that Ormond can be hand to the king, and basically once if his plans come to fruition, which we know they don't,
Yeah.
that he could be like a Tywin Lannister type.
Yeah, yeah.
or so that he could use
And Darren would take the throne as a Hightower, not as a Targaryen. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, he has the brown hair while all Alicent's other kids have the classic Targaryen blonde hair.
yeah,
And yeah, he does seem like he wants Tessarion, Darren's dragon, to just like be locked up there and die.
yeah.
And he's just constantly manipulating. But I mean, I forgot since I haven't read the book in 2 or 3 years, and Ormond's such
Same.
a he's one of those characters that just kind of like comes and goes, and you cannot keep all these characters in your head. But as the second he showed up, I was like, oh man, I know he's gonna die at the end of this season because they're probably gonna end with Tumbleton. But
Yeah,
damn, I wish he would have stuck around a little bit longer because
yeah,
he was so compelling in every scene.
yeah, yeah. He really was. And as you say, just all the little quirks about him, like being very kind of fastidious about cleanliness and hating blood and all this kind of stuff. Just very interesting character sort of quirks and traits.
Yeah, I mean he's a misogynist, like I said, a xenophobe,
Yeah,
um, uh, completely repelled by the violence that he endorses.
yeah, yeah. Massive anger management issues. Like
Yeah.
he has just a ridiculous temper when he flies off the handle. Yeah,
But also, yeah, completely charismatic and just all eight. I don't think he was in. I forgot if he was in all 8 episodes, but yeah, every scene he was in, he completely stole. And when Sir Gawain uh
I
found
do
out,
like Sir Gawain.
yeah, me too. Yeah, God,
He's kind of funny.
so downtrodden,
Yeah,
man.
he's
And
just sort of like, oh, what the fuck, and nothing's working, whatever.
he's not technically a new character because he was in one scene last season with Alicent as he was
Yeah.
leaving King's Landing, but he's essentially new because he finally gets some character development here. And
No, I think he was in a couple of seasons last season.
okay, you might be
But yeah,
right,
anyway, yeah.
but he was a we didn't know anything really about him or his
No, no.
character. But like he spends half the season trudging through the mud with Kristen Cole, and then like at the end he's just like trying to protect his nephew, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, nephew.
Yeah.
And he just turned he's a true knight. Like he's really trying to protect the innocent. And I really grew to love like all the high towers in Tumbleton were really well played.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to Darren Targaryen, who didn't really do that much, but I also like what they did with him too, because he seems like he always wants to do the right thing. You know, he was raised by Ormond essentially in the Light of the Seven.
Yeah.
He's a little cowed, but he does have a dragon, and he wants to fight. And when we get to the major book changes, his character is a lot different. But
Yes. Very different.
what were your thoughts on his character in the show and his little
I mean,
arc?
I thought it was interesting just in that he helped the Ormond character and helped gave us a picture of the Ormond character. I wasn't so keen on the changes from the book because I think it did in a way diminish him as a character. But he's still alive, so we'll see what happens with him. But in terms of helping the Ormond character, I mean, there's that one great scene where again you see Ormond's temper where something happens and there's a guy serving something. And at one point, Darren just kind of looks at him and under his breath, he goes, leave, leave,
Mm,
walk out. Because
mm.
he's been around Ormond, so he knows it's coming, right? And you see it like he sees the storm building, and I just thought that was a really cool scene, a really cool way to show that.
Yeah, to
But
that point, there was
but
that.
sorry, but I didn't think it did much for Darren's character on its own. But,
Yeah, and to that point, there was that one scene with where he and Gawain were like whispering the hall together, and they were talking about Ormond, and Darren was like, "I you don't want to be around him when," and then
yeah,
that's all that needed to be said.
yeah,
It's just kind
yeah,
of a note, just kind of a knowing nod of because everybody knows how he just Ormond just like can fly off the handle.
yeah,
An interesting addition. One that surprised me at first to see him on screen, but he definitely grew on me was Torrin Manderley, played by Dan Fogler as Rhaenyra's quippy just kind of flippant master of coin. And
Yeah.
that's one of the comedy bits throughout the season that really made me laugh every time he's on screen. Like the way he would just like flail his quill. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm the master of coin for what coin there is.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just doesn't take anything seriously.
Yeah. No, I mean he's just a funny actor, just like
Mhm.
his facial expressions are always kind of funny. I didn't quite get the character though. Like I didn't quite know what he wanted. Like what does that character want out of all this? I couldn't quite figure it out. And maybe I wasn't supposed to, but I just wasn't quite sure on that character. Like it
He kind
does he want to help Rhaenyra? Does
he
he
kind
not? Like I just couldn't quite I didn't quite get it.
he kind of reminded me of like a Mace Tyrell type. um
Mm.
where he's just like kind of happy to be there and have a title and have a position, and he'll just like, he's gonna give it his the old college try, but he's
Is he
not.
though? Like I was like it
Well,
doesn't really
he's
seem
not,
like it.
he doesn't come off as intelligent by any means.
Right, yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
And like yeah, Rhaenyra's small council is the worst in Westerosi history that we've seen so far.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah.
And another thing that made me laugh was when Damon threw his cup at him, and he's like, "I'll not hear complaints for someone whose only battle has been with their own indigestion." Like Damon's always usually so dour, but when he has a quip, it lands.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And another kind of minor character that'll probably play the bigger part next year, and most people probably won't even know her name, is Alicent Black Alley Blackwood. She's the
Yeah.
one that killed Sir Kristen Cole,
Yeah.
and just shooting arrows from horseback at the Battle of Tumbleton, and she plays a much bigger role down the road. So just wanted to highlight her real quick, and she wasn't in that many scenes, but every time she was a badass.
Yeah, like I don't even remember her having very many lines.
Mm.
But she stood out in her scenes, looking a little bit like an extra from the TV show The 100 at times, but
Or Vikings.
or Vikings, yeah.
Yeah.
But she, as you say, in the book, she does play a bigger role as we go along. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out, and if they keep true to where her character arcs for the rest of the series.
They're gonna have to, because uh spoiler alert, she is Arya Stark's great grandmother. Maybe two greats, maybe three greats, but
Yeah, a
uh
lot of greats. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, she was totally badass. We have Sir John Roxton, aka Bold John Roxton. He was the massive beef lord that almost took out Daemon at the Battle of Templeton. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure. Actually, no, I think I am sure. It's the first time we've seen two Valyrian steel swords clash. His is
Oh, I didn't even
bolt.
realize that he had a Valyrian steel sword too.
Yeah, John Roxton's sword is named Orphan Maker, and he's fighting Daemon, who has Dark Sister.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that Roxton had a Valyrian steel sword too. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I did like that one-on-one fight. That was a really good, sort of gritty. Yeah, that was great. And the actor who plays John Roxton uh, plays a very likable character in one of my favorite shows, Andor. So, uh,
Okay, let me just write that down. Another reason to watch Andor. Okay.
yeah,
And of course, I saved maybe the best for last. Roderick Dustin, aka Roddy the Ruin, played by the legendary Tommy Flanagan.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, the only disappointment is that we actually didn't see enough of him, to be
Mm.
honest with you. Like he'd show up, he'd say a few rousing words and send the boys into battle, but that was about it. Like we never got a chance to really see him, sorry, sit there and match wits with somebody, or maybe that's not the kind of character he is. He's just more of a battle-hardened old guy who just wants to fight and kill and die. But
Mostly die,
mostly die,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Which is yeah, which is very true to what they were. It was the all the old dogs from the north who wanted one last battle in them, and to save the north from having to provide them with food over the long winter, so that they all went off to battle. But yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah, I don't think they did a really good job explaining of why the winter wolves were there
No, no, probably not.
because the whole backstory is when winter's coming, Stark words,
Yeah,
all the graybeards, like the people that are past, childbearing age and are or the ones that don't have families or lands, they all try to go south to fight whatever war is happening at that time because winter in the north is especially brutal and food is scarce. So in order to have more resources for the youngins, uh, they want to just go down there, plunder, maybe a couple of them marry and into other noble families, but their
yeah,
main goal is to fight and die
yeah.
and
Gain a little
basically,
bit of glory along the
yeah,
way, and yeah,
basically go to the Westerosi version of Valhalla.
yeah, yeah.
And Tommy
You're right.
Flanagan.
They didn't really explain that in the show.
Yeah. So yeah, Tommy Flanagan's his first role was in Braveheart, and he was a warrior in that. And his iconic Chelsea smile, the scar that he got when he was like 16, is just catapulted him into being just one of the greatest character actors of our time. And
Yeah,
every time he's on screen, I didn't know he was playing Roddy the Ruin until he showed up at the fish feed,
yeah, yeah.
which
I didn't
is
realize that either. Yeah,
which is unfortunately a battle they skipped, but they did a good job, like because they had
they
Jason
showed the
Lannister's,
aftermath. Yeah,
yeah, they had Jason Lannister's head on a spike, and he's like, "We come to die for the Dragon Queen." Yeah, just amazing. And I don't know if you watched like the making ofs afterward, but he said that it was just such an enjoyable role because he had a good time on set. Then he had to, you know, basically show up, do a couple scenes here and there, and then have this epic one shot where he storms the ramparts, and then of course the final fight scene where he gives Ormond a proper fucking from the north. So yeah, a lot of good new characters, and
yeah.
I think I enjoyed all of them. And of course, when you bring in new characters in this world, you have to say goodbye to a lot of characters. This is Westeros after all, and it is
Hmm.
a civil war. So, first off, we have Prince Jacaerys, aka Jace, and his dragon Vermax. That was really moving for me. What about you?
I thought the scene was incredible. Um, it was less moving for me just because by that point I kind of didn't really care about him as a character.
That makes
And
sense. That makes
maybe
sense.
in part maybe that was because knowing the books I knew he was going to die fairly early on, but I don't think so. I think it still could, like, when Rhaenys died last season, I thought that was incredibly moving.
Mm.
And that, that was even earlier, and I knew she was going to die. But and so I don't think it's just that. I think it's just I didn't really love what they did with his character. And so he just kind of seemed like a spoiled brat and maybe that's kind of what he was, but I don't know. I just didn't love his character. And so, but I thought the scene of him dying was incredible. The fact, there's a bit of a dragon battle. He gets caught up. His dragon's dragging him down. All that stuff. And then in the end, he's kind of just his target practice in the water for these guys on the ships. I
Mm.
thought all that was incredible. Uh, yeah, but it didn't move me maybe as much as it did you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the timing because, it's 2 years in between seasons and
Yeah,
not everybody pays that much as much attention as you and I do. And I found out originally that the Battle of the Gullet, where he dies, was supposed to be the finale of last year.
Oh, okay.
And I think that would have been a lot more impactful
I agree. Yeah,
because we saw his kind of evolution, and he was always against Rhaenyra giving the common folk uh access to try to be dragon riders, and
yeah,
he turned out to be right in that case.
yeah,
But like I always rewatch a couple of episodes from previous seasons just to like get caught up and refresh before I start the next season. So especially like Bela's reaction, and the next episode actually was maybe one of the best acting moments in the entire series when they bring Jace's body in to Rhaenyra. And man, the performance that Emma Darcy put
yeah,
in, where she's like, it's nothing like I've ever seen. She wasn't just like, no, no, my son. She's just like shocked first, and then just
yeah.
like angry. She goes like through all the stages of
Going
grief at
through all
once.
the, yeah, the stages
Yeah,
of grief.
and
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like, how could you do this to me? How could
yeah,
you do this to me? I thought that was
yeah.
so
Blaming it.
powerful.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That was really
so
good.
it wasn't really his death in itself. It was Rhaenyra's reaction to the death
Right.
that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then in the same episode, we have I have no idea how to pronounce the name. It's Shariko Lohar, the sellsword from.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a that was a badass battle. And
Yes.
was it Alan, right? Alan killed her. I get Alan and Adam
Yes.
mixed up
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Alan killed her. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, again, just like the Damon and Roxton brawl, it got so visceral, like with their fist fighting on a sinking ship and choking the life out of each
Yeah.
other.
In the water. Yeah.
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 So yeah, another cool death there.
Yeah.
But I mean, not really much character development for Lohar, so
No, 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 no.
all she did was throw Thailand off the ship, and
Yeah.
we thought he was dead for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a pretty big book change. But one that did really hit me, and I texted you about this. I texted you about this as soon as you found out. Our boy Simon Strong,
They
man.
did him dirty, man. They did him dirty.
I'll take a sip of my ale horn for Simon Strong
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Simon Russell
God,
Beale there. Yeah.
yeah, fuck Amond.
Yeah. Just to
I
go
hate
out like that for no reason. He's just there. He's just, yeah. It just stabs him for no, absolutely no reason. And that's the end of Sir Simon Strong. Terrible.
like yeah, Damon and Harrenhal last year was boring at points, but at least he had the comic relief of Simon the entire
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
So, oh God,
Sir, there's been a raven waking him up all the time.
So yeah, Eamon can fuck off. I hate
Yeah.
him for unforgivable. I hate
Yeah.
him.
Absolutely. Exactly. Unforgivable.
Then we have Otto Hightower, who had a
Yes.
definitely ignominious death,
Yeah.
especially for how much influence he had over the first two seasons. And I remember on our last recap show that we did for the finale of season two, neither of us knew like who was holding him in prison or why he was there. It was never explained.
Right. Yeah.
And it turns out that it was a gift from Laris Strong.
Hmm.
Why? I don't know still.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess the Lara Strong character is still kind of an enigma and always was in the books too. Like
Mm.
he's always playing all sides and just basically trying to survive by in a way, and we've made this comparison before, kind of Littlefinger-esque in that,
Little finger light.
yeah, yeah. You just can't really try to ascribe much logic to it. It's just like,
Mm.
oh, just playing everything all the time and just trying to, stay on the good side and also turn on people at any time. So who knows? It's just him putting a whole bunch of cards on the table and seeing what happens.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. And then he was only in what, an episode and a half?
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
And then Rhaenyra takes two swipes to behead him. Doesn't look like she's ever held a sword in her life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably should have let Daemon do that, but she needed to show power, I guess.
Yeah.
And which is a shame because Reese Evans was a phenomenal
Oh, he was
actor
great.
and great
He was great.
character
Yeah.
in the series. But that's what happened in the books. And
Yeah.
like I said, they're rushing and dragging at the same time. Like he didn't have this drawn out anything. But he did have some good final words, like how her father Viserys would just be disgusted at how things have played out. But that's
Yeah.
mostly Otto's fault
It
too.
is. It is. He got
So
what he deserved, basically, to be
yeah.
totally fair.
And then we have good old Kristen Cole, the greatest warrior in the Seven Kingdoms, self-described.
Self-disc. Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that he went out essentially the exact same way he did in the books,
Yeah.
where he had, and I texted you throughout the series that I was starting to really like, I hated Kristen Cole last season because he was just such a whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
and
God.
in episode in season one too, he was
Well, yeah,
doing.
as soon as Rhaenyra didn't want to go off and sell oranges with him, he's just like,
Yeah, he's like,
meh.
oh yeah.
But then he just went to fucking another queen. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, he fucked two queens, killed a lot of people,
Yeah.
trudging through the mud all season, stepping on caltrops. Uh, I really did like him in this season though, because yeah, back to what I was texting you about. He's just like this nihilistic philosopher where
Yeah.
he would have these monologues where he's just like nothing matters. I just want to go out as a warrior, and but it wasn't cheesy. Like all his monologues were really compelling, I thought, and Fabian Frankel, who plays him, did a really good job. But at the butcher's ball where the rivermen all played dead and then hopped up and killed everyone, I thought that was an amazing scene, first of all,
Mm,
because I didn't know that was going to be the butcher's ball
right.
because everything's kind of out of order.
Yeah.
And the butcher's ball was a much bigger battle in the books, but I mean, I get it. It was effective. It did its thing. But and then Kristen Cole trying to go out in single or triple count, like trying to have a triple threat match with
Yeah.
Oscar Tully, and
Yeah.
Roddy the Rune.
Young
Uh,
Oscar Tully. Yeah.
so yeah, Alice, yeah, Allison Blackwood just
Blackwood. Yeah.
hits him with three arrows, and that's it. Like no glorious death for you, sir.
No. No. No, I agree. I kind of liked what they did with his character, especially gave him a bit of an arc that at this point, this season, he was just like, you know what? I'm done with taking orders from people and being under, I'm just going to go my own way and do like the whole world's gone to shit. I'm going to die, but I'm going to do it my own way. And I kind of like that sort of turn on his character.
Yep. And then, of course, we have at the Battle of Tumbleton, two main characters that were also introduced this season,
Hmm.
8 episodes and done.
Yeah.
Ormond Hightower and Roddy the Ruin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of faithful to the books, not completely, but faithful enough to where it's a good adaptation.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
and yeah, I thought that was both funny and glorious and just a great fight scene between those two guys.
Mm, it was. Yeah.
Also sad to see those two go, but I've never been so happy for a character that I like in Roddy the Ruin to die because that's
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
he. I mean,
It was kind of his purpose. Yeah.
to get your arm chopped off, stab your opponent in the ass with like a 10-inch dagger, get oh yeah, he was run through it with the sword too, and
Yeah.
then just get like incinerated by a dragon. He was just like ah, like the comparison between Ormond and Roddy in that moment where he's just like bring it on,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Ormond's just like no.
Oh no. Yeah. He thought he had
Again,
all worked it out. Yeah.
again, it was both epic and hilarious, and that's why another one of the reasons why I've laughed so hard in this season. And then, unfortunately, our last casualty of note is Helena Targaryen.
Yeah, yeah. Which doesn't happen when it happens in the books, but happened exactly how it happened in the books.
Yes.
Um,
And
and
we're going to get into some book changes after we're done with the deaths. But
yeah,
I'm glad they didn't like zoom in and show her like falling and getting impaled in the moat.
yeah,
I thought it was like a beautiful kind of like a sad, almost like Shakespearean, like sad but beautiful
yeah,
way to go out. I mean, when you started, when they started like force feeding her, it's it's basically torture, and the elaborate tapestry plays into the intro every
yeah,
week because
yeah,
it looks. I thought that was really cool,
yeah,
and then Rhaenyra's reaction to it, just like shut the door and I'm moving on. Like she's going super dark.
yeah. I did see what I thought was a pretty funny thing on the internet where, they showed Tallman from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and it's like they got to start putting some bars on these windows in case in the Red Keep.
Yeah, as soon as they start showing signs of depression,
Yeah,
you gotta put some supervision on them. But I mean, yeah, Helena was just too good for this world.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, she was obviously autistic, but she was a dreamer, and the way Rhaenyra treated her this year was just unconscionable.
Mm.
Yeah, I really started hating Rhaenyra when she was just like grabbing Helena, like, tell me what I want to know. Tell me,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's not how it works. So, those are the major deaths, new characters. Did you have a favorite episode out of the eight?
Honestly, probably the first episode.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just like maybe it was because I was excited that the show was back, but I thought all the stuff, well, and this gets into our next thing, but all the stuff with the Battle of the Gullet was just really well done. A lot of the build up to that, the even Reina finally getting on Sheep Stealer. Like we saw her kind of courting Sheep Stealer all throughout last season, and putting the sheep out and everything, and then we finally see her ride Sheep Stealer. But then the turn of, well, it's a wild dragon, so it's not going to act the way you expect it to. I thought all that was really cool. So yeah, I think I liked the first episode maybe best out of all of them.
It was a toss up between the first and the last one for me, but
Mm.
I was just, mm, I put a gun to my head or a Valyrian steel sword to my throat. Uh, I think I'd have to choose eight just
Mhm.
because I was so hyped for it. And while there are some problems book wise that we can get into in a little bit, I just thought from beginning to end, excuse me, again like Rhaenyra is going full almost like Hitler-esque with the speaking a foreign language that nobody else understands, but just
Yeah.
going with
And
her
all the
with her
people are
with
like, what's going on?
what the hell is she saying? And yeah, like we said, her badass armor and just
Yeah.
going completely against the sept. And then yeah, just the Battle of Templeton, which also had quite a few changes from the books, but I
Yes.
thought it was okay. It was fine. And yeah, and the Winter Wolves just charging through like fire and arrows and just like
Yeah.
not giving a shit. Like and, yeah, when Roddy and Co got in. Well, first of all, one of my favorite quotes of the entire season was when Damon was giving him instructions, and he's like, "We're here, can't fucking wait to die." And Damon's like, "Open the gate. You're not allowed to die until you open the gate."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Roddy's like, "I open gate, then die."
Yeah.
Again, funny.
Yeah.
As yeah, so them charging through, and then once they're inside the city and the gate opens, when Damon just blows it open with Caraxes, Roddy's like, "The gate's fucking open, and we're still fucking alive," and all his bros are like, "Ah." Yeah, it was just so entertaining. But yeah, yeah, that's just edges out episode one for me.
Okay.
But best battle, we only
Well,
really have.
and I think maybe I tipped my head. I actually think the Battle of the Gulf. I mean, the Battle of Templeton had the best one-on-one battles between Damon and Roxton and Ormond and the Winter Wolf himself there. But I think overall the Gullet battle was just incredible. Like the way they did some of those ship scenes, that little chase through the narrows and stuff where they're pulling in the oars and all that, and then the dragon stuff overhead. I just thought it was a really cool battle, really well done.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I thought the Gullet was one of the best battle scenes I've ever seen. Definitely the best naval battle ever put on screen, film or TV, in my opinion. Um,
Right. Yeah, I seem to recall there was a pretty good one in that movie Master and Commander, maybe.
oh yeah, there
Um,
was, but
but
just like the strategy involved and all the
right.
like all like the naval terminology that they used
Yeah.
and just the sea snake being so in command and knowing every little nook and cranny of his area
Yeah, that
and
was really cool.
luring Lohar into that trap where like they're warning him that the tide's going out, but he's like, I'm the fucking sea snake. I've been
Yeah, I
doing
can
this.
make it through here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be like 70 at this point in the timeline.
Yeah.
And so he's been doing this for a good 60.
But there basically isn't a place he hasn't sailed in the world
fi-
at this point.
exactly. So yeah, I just thought that was so clever. And again, not told in full detail in the book at all. So this is mostly just the writers coming
Yeah.
up with this.
Yeah.
And I just thought between all the naval jargon and the strategy of using the tides to beat your enemy while you sail through this like little tiny narrow pass. And then also you had the dragons and there were like catapults and flaming arrows and the fact that they have the budget to do these kind of battles in daylight now is just
Yeah.
incredible. Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
go back and look at the first three seasons of Game of Thrones, and it's just not even comparable
No, no,
as far
yeah.
as spectacle goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree that the Gullet was the best battle just because it was so original. And again, Adam like almost drowning with Lohar in the bowels of the ship while it's
Alan.
sinking.
Yeah.
Right. Adam has the dragon.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I thought front to back it was incredible. But I thought it would be more emotionally impactful if it was the finale of last year,
I
like
agree. Yeah, I
as it
totally
went.
agree on that. Yeah.
But just as pure battle spectacle and like the practical effects mixed with CGI, yeah, the Gullet definitely
Yeah.
takes it for me.
Yeah.
So who's your MVP of the season?
I'm actually going to go with Aegon. Um, just because, started the season, the guy's left for dead. He manages to stay alive. He kept his faith that his dragon was still somehow alive, even though everybody told him the dragon was dead. And it all paid off, right? By the end. Now he's a major player, back on the board. He by the end he's forced his brother to submit to him again. Like I think it's got to be Aegon in my opinion.
100% agree. Only in the world of George R. R. Martin would I be able to start rooting for a rapist, a person who put his own bastard children into a fighting ring, sharpen their teeth to maul each other, and just an overall piece of shit
Yeah,
for the first
yeah,
two seasons.
yeah,
I mean that took like that makes Jamie Lannister pushing a kid out of a window like who even cares
yeah,
at that point.
yeah.
But I mean, God, Tom Glencarney, who plays Aegon, is just so amazing, and I think he might be my favorite actor on the show now.
Possibly, yeah, no, he is really good. Yeah. And
And
yeah, the fact that people call it out to his face, they tell him he's a piece of shit. But it's not like it's really a redemption arc either, which is what makes it interesting. Like it's not like he's less of a piece of a shit now. He
no,
just
yeah.
he's just kind of he's almost owned it now. He's much more self-aware, and he's damn the consequences. I've got my dragon back, and you guys have all been shitting on me, and now it's my turn. Like it's just kind of an interesting. It's not really an arc because, as I say, I don't know if his personality is really or his moral compass has really changed that
Oh
much.
no.
It's just his personality is much more aware, much more interesting now.
No, it's more like it's not an arc, it's more of like a dip and then it's like a roller, it's a dip and
Yeah,
then way back up.
yeah, yeah,
Because he did have to, kiss a guy's boots that were covered in shit
yeah,
at one
yeah,
point in this
yeah.
season.
And he
But
ended
that
up killing that guy. So,
very, very brutally, yes.
yes,
But that speech he made with Tylan standing next to him, just like ready to go out like a king, like a hero king, and not knowing Sunfyre was alive.
yeah,
Oh, and then Sunfyre just scorching the mutant
yeah,
army.
yeah.
But going back, like I felt so bad for him when he was just like resting against Sunfyre because I mean he thought he was dead. Well, I mean he thought he was alive, but
He's like, he's
everybody.
still alive, and everybody's like, no, 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 he's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, like that's his puppy,
yeah,
Like I remember back before Rook's Rest when he went to the Dragon Pit and he booped him.
yeah.
And that was like my first inkling of like, oh my God, he may be a rapist, but not that bad. I mean, it fucks with your moral compass so much. God damn you, Jar Jar Martin. But yeah, Aegon definitely MVP. Especially, I think he had one of the best line deliveries in the finale in the entire Game of Thrones universe, where he walks up to Aemond and Harrenhal is like, "I'm alive."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I lost it. I fucking cracked up for like 2 minutes. I had to rewind it to see what the rest of the scene they were talking about was. And yeah, Eamon is just so cowed compared
Yeah.
to where he was. And yeah, that relationship's going to be interesting to see because none of that's in the books.
No, no, not at all.
All right, so who's your least valuable player?
Well, you just mentioned him. It's Eamon.
Mm.
Like he didn't do a damn thing all season. He's got the most powerful dragon in the world that we didn't even see. And all he really did all season was just sit there and get bewitched and then have weird sex dreams about his mom. Like, and in the end, submit to his brother again. Like, yeah, no, it's got to be Eamon for me. He was terrible, and he did Sir Simon Strong dirty. So for me, it's Eamon.
uh, yeah, I think Allison's the obvious answer
Okay,
just because she doesn't do anything, and
yeah,
every little plan she has gets foiled almost immediately.
it's true.
But as far as like if you're talking about stock dropping, it's definitely Amond.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was the same with Damon last year, and I'm so glad that he's like back to doing what he does and got out from under the influence of that witch.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
he got himself a cool gem eye, I guess. That's about all Damon did all season.
Oh, and a couple dragon eggs
He took it. Yeah. Yeah.
that never got resolved though.
Sure where that's going or where it comes from because that's not in the books. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah. But yes, yeah, because Aemond was probably my favorite character after last season, and now he's like one of my least favorite characters.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, Alicent is just completely fucking useless. So, if you haven't read the books and you don't want to be like, we're not going to spoil what happens after this, but there are quite a few major book changes if you're planning on going and reading Fire and Blood after we talk about this. So there are some good book changes and
Mhm.
I think more bad changes if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Um so let's you want to start negative or positive?
I guess we can start positive.
Okay.
Like
S-
it was a minor thing because it only lasted half an episode. But I did, as I mentioned at the beginning, I did kind of like the Darren switcheroo. Like the fact that they thought that they
mm,
had Darren and brought him back to King's Landing, and then actually that was all just totally a ruse, and Ormond had sent off this other guy. Like that wasn't in the books, I don't remember. And
mm,
so I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, because as I'm watching it, I'm thinking that's a real change from the books. They didn't capture Darren like that. And then when they did the switcheroo, I just thought it was interesting because it added a bit more strategy. Um, so that's a small one because it didn't really have a lasting impact, but I thought it was kind of cool. Um, the other, I do actually like the change where they add the dynamic between the brothers, between Aegon and Aemon.
mm,
I think it does add a little bit extra, and obviously that started last season, but it's now based upon what we saw in this final episode. It's going to continue on, and I do think that's an interesting change to give them a little bit more of a like Aemon in the books is much more just kind of a loyal soldier
mm,
and just a fierce warrior that goes off and does his thing.
right.
The dynamic is much more, sibling jealousy and rivalry, and I think that is a good change. So yeah, those are two positive changes, I would say.
I was actually a huge fan of Alice Rivers getting a backstory.
Okay, yeah,
I, I
yeah,
thought it made a lot of sense and it doesn't really fuck with the lore of
no,
George R. R. Martin because she's just kind of this enigmatic character in the books that kind of like floats around. Like it's implied that she has some kind of magey, aka like woods witch powers.
yeah,
But the fact that she was the wife of Black Heron, who
or at
if
least
you,
his mistress. Maybe was it actually his wife? Uh,
yeah, because she had several kids with him. Well, that doesn't mean that he wasn't
Yeah,
that.
I'll have to go back and rewatch that scene where she's explaining it. I thought it was just mistress, but I could be wrong.
And that she used all kinds of blood magic and dark magic and like the children of the forest, which finally explains that like 1/2 second shot that we got of the dude in the woods with antlers, that like
Yeah.
the blink if you miss it thing that happened in like episode 2 or 3 of this season. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that? Is that like one of the children of the forest? But
Yeah.
it doesn't look like that. So yeah, she like communes with the old spirits and more ancient than old Valyria, and she's like 150 years old. And Aemon's like, sweet, let's fuck. But
It
yeah,
also explains why she doesn't want Vagar around. Um,
mm.
Although that's, for the bad because it's Vagar. We want more Vagar in the show. But but it does help explain that choice anyway. Uh,
Yeah, so that I thought that was a really interesting monologue and finally explained why she's in the show to begin with, and not just in the show because she's in the books, but at such a high level where she
right.
hypnotizes two of the most important characters in the show over the course of 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like she holds Damon hostage and then Aemon hostage.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't she take advantage of Simon Strong? He was right there.
He would have been down.
I did like that Aegon's not as badly, nowhere near as badly injured and incapacitated as he is in the books, as well as
Hmm.
Sunfyre, because Sunfyre can't even fly because he has a missing wing, and
Yeah.
Aegon is like completely reliant on milk of the poppy to the point where he can't even walk. He needs to be carried around in a litter.
Yeah.
So and that adds to why he was the MVP of this season. So I thought that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Um,
Although Sunfyre, the reason why Sunfyre is that badly hurt isn't just because of what happened last season. In the books, it's because for another reason, which, you know, hasn't quite happened yet. But Sunfyre is battling another dragon on Dragonstone, and that already after it had already been sort of thought dead.
right.
But
One of my favorite developments is Hugh and Ulf both have a clear motivation and character development,
mhm,
which they didn't really have in the book. It was just like in the books, it was like, okay, these are two up jump guys who were commoners, and all of a sudden they have the ultimate power of being dragon riders, so they just take advantage of it for their own selfish purposes.
yeah,
And with Ulf being, you know, literally beat down in the street by both Damon and Orman,
yeah,
uh, obviously he's going to turn on both of them.
yeah,
And the Battle of Tumbleton is split into two battles in the book, and
it is.
they definitely conflated it. I don't think they're going to have another Battle of
I
Tumbleton
don't
next
think
year.
so. No.
So Ulf Hugh definitely has motivation now because of his whole, has a dead wife, dead family, nothing else to live for. We didn't see him actively betray anybody, even though the last episode was called The Treasons at Tumbleton,
Hmm.
and they're known in the books as the two traitors or the two
Yeah.
turncloaks or something like that. Um,
Well, and in this case, he's almost going to have more cause to hate Ulf than anybody else.
mhm.
Because Ulf, it was Ulf really was the one who was burning everything down, and that's so that and really caused most of the destruction. I'd I'd have to rewatch the episode. I can't remember what exactly is the thing um, that kills
Hugh's wife.
His wife. Is it
It's implied that it's just soldiers because she didn't get
okay?
burned because he's holding her in his arms and
That's right.
she's,
Yeah, she isn't burned. Okay, so it isn't necessarily Elf, but um,
I mean, who knows if it was the High Towers or the Starks or
yeah, yeah,
whoever.
it could have been anybody. But Hugh, I can't imagine is happy with Ulf either, though,
Yeah,
because he was burning the town where his wife was, and the whole time Hugh just wants to try to keep his wife safe. So,
yeah, yeah. So I thought that was really good character development. Like I completely understand where both of them are coming from now,
mhm.
rather than just, you get a lordship if you do this, and just bribing them the entire time.
Yeah, and then they just get too big for the britches in the book
Right.
and just want even more. Yeah, they just get greedy.
And the last good change is you brought this up earlier, but Tylan just being like the most honorable person,
Yeah, I love
the
Thailand now.
yeah, the most honorable Lannister that's ever lived.
Yeah, yeah,
Because Jason was so his twin, Jason was so power hungry
yeah,
and so cocky, and the only time we saw him this season was with his head on a spike when
yeah.
Roddy the Ruin brought him out of the fish feed.
And really, yeah, for the most of the series, Thailand has seemed kind of useless. Like he's kind of
Hmm.
like except he manages to get the agreement with the Triarchy, like, and so he comes through, and
Yeah.
even though everybody kind of dismisses him. So yeah, I do like that change that Thailand is becoming kind of cool. I like him.
And I love that whole scene again, hilarious, where Aegon asks him if he's a terrible man, and he's
Yeah,
just like taking his time for
yeah.
like
Like,
3 minutes, being like, "Well,
um,
Your
um,
Grace, there is good and bad
bad
in all of
everyone.
us."
Yeah.
Like he just always tries to say the right thing so he doesn't get in trouble. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's Aegon's most loyal
That
advisor. I mean,
is willing to just die with him right then and there
yeah,
if Sunfyre hadn't shown up.
yeah. So we'll see how that pays off. All right, now let's shit on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, one of the biggest changes from the book is the elimination of Nettles from
Mm,
the book and the decision to have Raina take Sheep Stealer and take much of that storyline, although that storyline has also been totally changed.
hmm
And I don't think any of that's for the better, to be honest with you. I don't really understand what they're doing with the Reina character. Like, is that it? Is it's got to still be leading somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where. Like maybe they can still have, again, this is, spoiling a little bit what happens in the book. Maybe they can still have her and Damon go off together on their dragons to try to hunt Vagar, just not in a romantic way. But it's just I don't think that's worked. I liked the character of Nettles, and it just yeah. So I don't like that change, and I don't like what they did with Reyna, and then her with Jane from the Veil. None of those scenes made any sense to me. It's just I don't like any of that.
Yeah, just a quick point. I did like when Jane threw some dude from through the moon door, and she's like, it's always fascinating.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but yeah, the whole Reina thing, I definitely had that towards the top of my list. Just doesn't make sense.
yeah.
Um and I can see why they wouldn't want to introduce Nettles at this late stage. And you kind of have to conflate some
Well, they would
characters.
have had to introduce her last season.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
when
And
Ulf and Hugh were getting their dragons around
yeah,
that.
so Nettles is just a commoner of no name who kind of hijacks sheep stealer, roams
On
around
Dragonstone though, which is different from
the
it,
Vale.
yeah, it's not in the Vale in the book.
Right. So yeah, she's just like kind of an enigma. Nobody knows who she really is. And then at the end of the day, she just leaves and nobody knows what happens to her. So I mean, I can see why the showrunners wouldn't want to introduce a character like that who doesn't really play a bigger part in the overall like succession story. But
Oh, yeah, but I mean she plays a pretty big part in uh an upcoming interesting battle in the book. So
yeah.
but,
So yeah, so I mean Reina is like right down there with Massaria as my least favorite characters right now. I
mm,
mean, Massaria has always been my least favorite character. I can't
yeah,
stand her.
I don't know what they were doing with Massaria this year.
Or
This
last
season.
year or the year before.
Yeah, I didn't mind her
I
as much as you did the first couple of seasons, but this season her character made no sense to me
yeah,
whatsoever.
I mean her entire dialogue is just, but who will give bread to the people? Like it's just like every fucking time.
Yeah.
And then when Rhaenyra's handmaid brings her like severance package, she has like the weakest guard in history. If you're trying to get rid of somebody, she has like four or five knights around her while they're
Yeah.
while they're
She
carrying her
just
around.
hops off a
She
wagon.
just fucks off.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
gone.
But who will give the birth to the people? Uh, there was no battle of the honey wine, which is a
Yeah.
pivotal battle in the books, and it's where Darren flew into the fight with Tessarion, his dragon,
Yeah.
and that's why he got knighted. It wasn't just
Yeah.
out of nowhere. And and Ormond saying that you have to be a knight before you can be a king. He's just making laws up as he
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you think Joffrey Baratheon never got knighted?
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's stupid. But yeah, and that gets to like when we were talking about the new characters. Darren's character I thought was just incredibly diminished, unfortunately, in this season. I didn't, I didn't mind the actor who played him. I
Mhm,
didn't mind some of those scenes, but in the book, the tide gets turned in part in favor of the Greens because there's this major new player on the field, and that is
mhm,
Darren and the Hightower army, but specifically Darren because they're going up against armies that don't have dragons and they're just kind of sweeping across Westeros. And
mhm.
we didn't see any of that. And so Darren's just kind of like sitting there being cowed by Ormond the whole time
Hmm.
this season.
Yeah, and he gets knighted afterwards, and that's why he's called Darren the Daring, not just because Ormond
Yeah,
arbitrarily gives it to him.
yeah, yeah,
And but true to character, he Darren does say that it wasn't me, it was Caesarion that did most of the damage. So he is that kind of humble,
yeah.
and would probably make a good king.
Hmm. Although
Also,
that's another change though too, which that one I didn't mind so much, but in the books, Ormond doesn't want Darren to be king. I don't
mm,
think it's just they're just still trying to win the battle for Aegon.
mhm,
But yeah, in this, he's trying to raise up a rival king. But
yep. Also no Bitter Bridge, which is another key
yes,
battle.
yeah, the bitter, yeah,
And I know you can't just have battle scene after battle scene after battle scene, but I mean, these are like really key, not just battles, but character moments as well.
yep,
And no Dalton Greyjoy, aka the Red Kraken.
mm-hmm.
No Greyjoys at all in this
Nope,
show.
nope,
They're mentioned once or twice, actually once, because in the Gullet, um, when the Sea Snake hears that they're under attack, he's like, "Is it the Lannisters, the Greyjoys?" It's like, "No, it's the Triarchy," and I think that's the only time Greyjoy is mentioned in the entire series.
yep,
But the Red Kraken, Dalton Greyjoy, sacks Lannisport in the books,
mm-hmm.
and that's a huge deal because that's the seat of House Lannister,
Yep,
and that would have been another awesome sequence. And yeah, I can't believe they left out one of the like houses that we're familiar with from Game of Thrones too. It's not like they would have been thrown in,
right,
and like we know what they're all about. They're Viking ass Vikings when they like plunder and pillage.
yeah,
And that could have been a really interesting subplot because Dalton Greyjoy is like one of the OG reavers and rapers, and uh, just we do not so.
yeah.
Um, big change, and this is the one that pissed off George R. R. Martin most when he saw it was coming, is there is no Maelor Targaryen because he dies with Helena when she jumps out the window because she's still pregnant with a boy. And he
Right.
plays a pretty damn big part as a kind of a pawn in the later stage of the Dance of Dragons.
Yeah.
Obviously, Aemond isn't in Harrenhal. He's out
No.
there. He's just laying waste to the Riverlands.
Well, he does go to Harrenhal, but it's not, yeah, he's not just sitting there the whole time. He's actually, yeah, as you say, he's out there doing things. Again, getting back to my first initial criticism of this season, just a lot of the characters were just way too passive. In the books, they're actually out there doing things.
Mhm. And lastly, just Helena.
Yeah.
I thought that when she was pregnant, she would at least be allowed to give birth to Maelor, even though he's supposed to be way older at this point.
Hmm.
I mean, he's still like a toddler, but he's alive and plays a big part in the story. She does jump out of a window and kill herself in the books, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But
But in the book, it happens. She's got, yeah, in the book, it happens right after Blood and Cheese, right? Or is it?
no, it's
I thought it was then when she was distraught over the death of her kid.
of Jaehaerys.
Maybe
I,
not. Okay, maybe yeah, I'll have to go back.
I thought it happened a little later. I'd have to go back and check, but
It definitely happens earlier than it did in this series, though.
yes. And I was almost hoping that they'd give Helena a more noble death because like in her vision when the mob is storming the dragon pit, I I thought it would have been cool for her to go out like that way because she's always been an animal lover and
Right, right.
like maybe try to escape with her dragon and go find peace somewhere. But yeah, the death is true to the books, but it wasn't the spirit of the book.
No, no.
So yeah, that's all the major book changes. And looking ahead to season four, which will be the final season, I'm
Mhm.
assuming it's going to be another 8 episodes, and that's probably all that they're going to need.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff right afterwards, after the deed is basically done, when we find out who ends up on the Iron Throne. Not to give anything away. There in the book, there's quite a bit of like what happens over the next couple of years of sort of solidifying that rule and the aftermath of all this. But I'm guessing they won't get into too much of that. I'm guessing we'll probably just see who ends up on the Iron Throne. Although that I don't know how they're going to really do that because without getting into too much, um, there's a bunch of stuff that's been left out of the series that's very important for what happens at the end. And so, in particular, a couple of the young children that we haven't seen much of. So, yeah, I don't know how they're going to wrap it up in 8 episodes, to be honest with you.
Yeah. All I'll say is that it is just bleak.
Yeah, yeah.
It is
Everything is very bleak.
super, super bleak. Like,
Yeah.
if you didn't find this season funny, next season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean basically, yeah. I mean this is always the case when talking about something in the Westeros world, but don't get attached to any characters, not that I was attached to any of them, because not many of them are going to make it through this.
Yeah, I mean, if you think Game of Thrones is bad, this is
Yeah.
this is apocalyptic.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen in season four? I mean, I don't even know how there's gonna be like any enjoyment watching season four. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
so much bad shit happens. But
Well, and that's the thing. It could have been more interesting if they had done a bit more with some of these the younger people who do
mhm.
survive it all. Because then we would have been invested in them and seeing them kind of build the new world, but we haven't really been spent much time with them in the series.
And maybe they can do some build up in the first couple of episodes
Yeah.
because everything does start happening so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so condensed. Like we had a what 10-year time jump in season one, and
Mhm.
since then it's been maybe 3 or 4 years since Rhaenyra took the crown. I mean, since
Yeah.
Aegon took the crown and then Rhaenyra
Yeah.
usurped him, or
But there's a pretty
however.
major event that should have happened probably last season, and it seemed like they were almost hinting at it, and then it just didn't happen.
Mm,
And so I guess I can mention what it is because it should have happened by now, but might mean they'll have it. But um, when they were sending off the two youngest, so Damon and Rhaenyra's kids,
hmm
off to Pentos,
hmm
um, in the book, their ship gets attacked,
hmm
and one of the kids is presumed dead. The other manages to flee on his dragon,
Right,
and it
right.
kind of emotionally scars him because he thinks he's a coward for leaving his brother. And that's a pretty big moment that plays a pretty big part. And they didn't have that. Like we assume because they kind of mentioned it that those kids are in Pentos, but I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, that was one of the big omissions for sure. And just to kind of wrap up, I think that while I enjoy the series, like let's not get it twisted. Like I'm here for it, and a lot of the characters I really enjoy, and some that are really entertaining, some not so much. But I think House of the Dragon's main problem is what Game of Thrones ran into in seasons 7 and 8, where they started to sacrifice character development for spectacle.
Mm,
And the reason why Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 4 and A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season one were so entertaining, some of the best television over the past 20 years, is that it's all character stuff. It's all, I
yeah.
mean, some of the best scenes in Game of Thrones were just two people talking in a room.
Yeah.
And yeah, the battles were the payoff, but that wasn't why we tuned in, and that's not why it gained such a wide following, especially for a fantasy series to be that massive. It was you fell in love with the characters, and then when battles happened or conflicts happened, you were invested in both sides, as we kind of alluded to at the beginning of this podcast, and we're just not getting that here.
No. No, I mean I think there is a bit of a difference. In Game of Thrones, part of the issue with the last seasons is that they didn't have a template anymore. They didn't really know where George, I mean they had some conversations with him, but once they reached the point where the books had stopped, it was kind of unclear because it's become very obvious that George R. R. Martin himself doesn't really know what's going to happen
But even it, but
because
even
he can't really finish the story. Whereas in this, they have an exact, like they know how this is all supposed to end, and so I think it's not the same problem. It's a different problem,
mm,
but I take your point that they're almost like, okay, now this has to happen, now this has to happen, now this has to happen because that's the way it happens in the book. And you're right, they're kind of letting the character stuff go a little bit.
but like even at seasons, they ran out of in Game of Thrones, they ran out of George R. R. Martin runway after season 5, and season
Yeah.
6 was still good
Oh, it was
because
great. I loved season
because
6. Yeah.
because it had 10 episodes, and then
Yeah.
they cut it down to 6 for the next 2 seasons,
7
and
and then 6. Yeah.
yeah, 7 and then 6.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, let's get to this next point. Let's get to this next point. Let's get to this next point, where none of it really felt earned.
No.
So I feel like House of the Dragon is kind of falling into that trap where like the showrunners and I guess the execs at Warner Brothers slash HBO think that everybody tunes in for like more dragons. Everybody loves dragons.
All right.
And while it's a plus, like it's awesome to see dragons fighting, if there are no like emotional stakes, then it's just kind of like high fantasy for high fantasy's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, yeah, that took us a while because had to
Yeah. We're
wrap
running a
up,
little longer.
had
Yeah.
to run through 8 episodes in one podcast episode. But I mean, feel free to break it up and watch it in segments.
Yeah.
Not gonna bother us. All adds to our YouTube views, but make sure like and subscribe. And don't know what we're doing, but we're definitely going to be doing this more frequently now that summer's almost over. Just summer's hectic for everybody, and once it starts to get a little bit colder, we'll be inside watching movies and TV, and keep you updated on this summer blockbuster draft as well.
Yeah.
So, as always, I'm Zach Miller. He is Martin Cooke, and we'll see you next time on the Unsolicited Film Reviews podcast.
Bye,
Cheers.
everyone.